Hello and welcome back to my channel, Chess Capture Threats. Today's video in episode 84 of the Chess Guide will be going over making a plan. So, we did a example game yesterday and now we're going to be going over how they kind of was able to get that sort of plan in a few ways. So, there's a few ways we can do this and I'm going to give you both the ways. Now, creating a plan, realistically, the main aspect is you don't want to create just one plan. If you create one plan, it's very easy for the other side to just get rid of that plan, and now you're stuck with nothing. So, the first tip I would give you is make at least, if you were to just do one plan, say if it's a really quick game, you can't think of anything else, make it so that there's a bit, like you can make it so tactical, so you have other moves. It's not just a one-way process. So you need to be able to get anywhere. So, for example, if we just play an opening here, for example, we can do all of this, and, I'm still giving myself, obviously, many reasons in the opening here of what I can do. I already know what sort of things we'd be playing at this time. We can have all of these moves, and we might be able to get into certain positions here that maybe now I want to create a plan that I want to do this. But I don't want to play this. They move the knight, let's just say they go aggressive, and now all of a sudden I can't go there. But I'm now giving myself a reason to still have this move, which does put this at a bit of a loss. Maybe there's obviously other things there, but I'm trying to give you plans they can do that. Now, that's just the quick way, I would say. If you want to just create one plan, if it's like a bullet, maybe a quick blitz game, anything like that. Now, how I would do this is at least 3 plans. And it's very obvious what I'm going to say here, hopefully. Plan in the opening, plan the middle game, plan the end game. Now, why I'm saying this is you've got to, realistically, just create a plan on everything. So again, I'll play d4 this time. So I'm planning to play an opening. I'll play the London system, let's just say, or even the Queen's Gambit. Let's just play Queen's Gambit. We all know that one. So, now, obviously, what I'm already planning here is a few things. What happens if he takes it? So, do I go accepted? Or, what happens if he declines? Do I just get the bishops out, the knights out, anything like that? So, let's say they decline it. We now know to play a move, one of the knight moves. And again, we're making a plan. Now, what we're going to do is pin here. And we're going to obviously have, get our queen to c2, e3, get the bishop out, knight c3, etc. That's creating a plan. That's creating ideas in what we can do for future reference. So again, just playing these 3 moves, and we're still sticking to our plan. We can even play queen c2 now, and as we can see, we're just getting all the pieces out like we're saying. And realistically, we're coming out the opening now. Obviously, a little bit better as I can't get this knight out for black, but this is where it gets to, if I just make a few extra moves now, like this, for example, we're now pretty much out of the opening. Now, what I would say here is obviously to plan the middle game, it's very difficult. So, it won't be a set, openings are very easy to create plans, because openings are really the only bit where you actually have theoretical ideas. So, this is where it goes to a bit more of a different category here. So, again, if you know openings very well, that first part should be very easy. Now here, I would say just try and, as I said earlier, create multiple ways for a certain plan, but just try and make it more, whether you want to go really attacking, maybe you want to say, because I've got this battery of these two, maybe I want to go really defensive, maybe I want to start, attacking later on. So let's just say they make an aggressive move here, maybe we want to attack them. But again, the biggest thing this video is going to be teaching you is, as you're creating a plan, black or white, your opponent will always also have a plan. They will always have something to counter your plan, or they will always have something to create their own plan. So you've got to try and navigate your plan around that, plus also trying to defend their plan. So again, we just thought of this, but as you can see, it's very easy to counter with a move like bishop to d6, for example. And then, we can simplify this, And again, I could say, maybe now I want to plan pushing this, but maybe they can create a way of actually, maybe they can just want to take and they want to simplify the whole game, and then they'll get their knight out and maybe try and go for a draw, or even try and maybe escape that one extra pawn somewhere later on. So it's very difficult to, find, there's not always a right plan. No one's ever going to have the perfect plan in the world. It's quite difficult to do. So as long as it's a reasonable idea and you're able to get, good ideas from it, and you're able to try and win material maybe. So in this position, we're looking at this move here, sorry, and, it might do something. It just moves the king. It's not a good plan in my opinion. So if we were to go in this position, let's just say they move the knight, for example, what's our plans then we could do? Now the big plan here is this centre. This pawn's very weak. So already one of these rooks goes to d1 is a very good plan, because we already know what this plan's going to be, which also makes it a bit too revealing to black almost in this position, because they know that this queen's going to get attacked, so straight away it's going to move the queen to here, for example, or maybe even here to stop the pawn getting attacked. So if this was to happen, it's not going to be too bad, for example, even though there's also added risk with this bishop as well. So it wouldn't be able to do that. So now it's got to find better ideas. So for example, now they've got to take here maybe, and now you can say, now I can lead it into a bit more of an annoying position like this. For example, that would not be a good move because you actually get forked. But I'm just trying to create some theoretical ideas that you could maybe later on try and do. Again, this is not a perfect game at all, so I'm just trying to give you some sort of reference. And it gets to a position like this, we're very close to the end game, not there just yet, but we're already creating ideas with as white, we're creating ideas as black, and it's very easy. After, if you haven't done this already, you'll see after about probably 5 games, I would say, if you carry on creating a plan. Now don't get me wrong, it's very difficult to create a plan in blitz games and bullet games. If you're playing any of those like 1 minute, 3 minute, maybe even 5 minute games, I think that you can justifiably get that. But 10 minutes is where you can really, if you see my rapid increase, you can see we really go in depth in most of the moves, and most of the time using our plans I'm able to get a result out of it, whether I'm winning pieces, I'm winning time against them, because that's also another thing. Your plan doesn't even, you could lose pieces, your plan, maybe just to make them think extra, and then they're going to waste time on the clock, and you can maybe beat them on time. There is literally anything to a plan you can do. It's all part of chess with a strategy. So that is how I would create a plan, and it's not up to me to tell you how to do a plan. This is just 2 ways how I would do it. If you wanted to just use one simple plan, that's fine. Just make sure it's not too, easy to solve against it almost, and it's not too easy to be countered. But how I would say, you can easily create more than 3 plans as well in the other tip as well. Definitely, the more plans you create, the more better it could be, but also more confusing. You don't have so many plans that, multiple times you're thinking this, and then you're going to get confused, play the wrong moves, and you might lose. So just make sure you create a justifiable amount of plans, which you can sort of navigate around if there is certain things that they've countered, vice versa. So that is it for today's video. Hopefully you learned something about creating a plan. Might not be the best I was trying to create, but at least just trying to get something just to try and see whether or not you're able to get, maybe in your next game you can see a difference. So hope you enjoyed today's video, so thank you and bye bye.